everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. This is a reading that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's a little bit of a deeper dive into what the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine are experiencing, especially in the physical, for their ascension journey. Now, if you missed it, I did do some special readings over the weekend for Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine support for their ascension journey, so make sure that you're checking that out. I also have a new sacred channeling over on my sister channel, Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, called Soul Merge, talking about the Divine Masculine, the Divine Feminine energies, really anchoring into this new Earth grid. So make sure that you're checking out all of the new updates, and we'll have some more going forward. So I want to see what's going on for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine presently. And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper and see how are they experiencing this ascension journey and how are they experiencing this connection with each other truly. So alright, let's get a card for the Divine Masculine, please. How's the Divine Masculine experiencing this ascension journey? What's their current energy for the Divine Masculine? Divine Masculine, please. Current energy, solitude. And what's going on for the Divine Feminine? Compass. And what's the union energy between them? What's the union energy between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine right now? What's the union energy between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine right now? Commitment. Interesting. So I'm going to start with that energy for a minute here because I feel like that's what's actually happening, even though it looks very different on the surface for both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. What I'm feeling is that they're both committed and loyal to each other. And I'm feeling like they both want to reach out towards each other, but that's not quite happening yet. There is some kind of conclusion that is happening. There is some kind of ending that is happening within their own lives, their own versions of themselves, perhaps within their own journey as well. I'm getting this sensation of clarity. I just did a reading for the Patreon, which was a specific scenario reading. This reading is for you. I do that once a month. So it's a specific reading for one person, a small section of the collective within that Patreon community. And the interesting aspect that came through was this War of the Roses kind of energy. There was a white rose and a red rose that was depicted on one of the tarot cards. And I live in an area where the symbols of our towns and the one across the water is the red rose and the white rose. And so it's this War of the Roses kind of energy, but this building the bridge. And what I had channeled was both counterparts are kind of reaching towards each other to build this bridge, releasing the past, ending the past energy, and coming towards each other. Make sure that you're checking out the Patreon. I am going to be halting the billing cycle for September in celebration of my birthday month. So if you subscribe, then you'll get 1 month free and you'll get all of the access to all of the older videos as well. It depends on which tier that you subscribe to, but you'll have access to all the videos within that tier. And all the videos for the month of September are going to be public. But it's that energy of building the bridge. And what happens when you build a bridge is you start at both ends and make your way towards the middle. And that's the energy that we have been channeling over the course of this journey. It's meeting in the bridge of the heart. And what happens there is you meet on that bridge of love. You meet in the energy of love. And you bridge any pain, any patterns, any traumas, any conditioning, any patterning, programming. You bridge all of that to come back to the energy of love. That's what this really feels like, reaching for each other. But first, there had to be your own endings of cycles, versions of self, perhaps even experiences in life, perhaps even an ending of the journey itself in some way, shape, or form. And in order to start a new cycle, in order to start a new life, in order to recognize the new energy of yourself that you have stepped into, this higher consciousness that you have stepped into. So I do really feel like these counterparts are fully committed to each other. Now take it as it resonates for you. This could be your own inner masculine and feminine that is uniting in that oneness and that wholeness. This could be a partnership that is committed to each other. in some way, shape, or form. This could be energetic commitment. You could actually be seeing that commitment play out in your physical experience with your physical partnership and relationship. For those who have ended a connection or relationship with somebody, this could be another conscious energy that is coming in to bring forth that commitment. So there has been some kind of difference in the energies lately, some split in the collective. Do take it as it resonates for you. I am open to personal readings if you want to look deeper into your own connections. So what's interesting about this is we have this very different energy, but it's the same in the union energy. It's the same in how they're approaching commitment, how they are viewing commitment, how they're viewing this relationship, but they're approaching it from two very different sides. The Divine Masculine is in a little bit of this hermit energy with the Solitude card. The Divine Feminine is in this energy of opening up to her world, or opening up her world with this Compass card. I feel like she's getting new direction. I feel like she's experiencing new beginnings. I feel like she's really centering herself and finding her own internal true north. And that comes from a place of she's not abandoning herself. She's not betraying herself anymore. She is honoring herself. She is loving herself. And as such, she's finding her center. She's finding her own true north that's giving her direction for her journey. She's not needing to figure it all out, but she's allowing life to unfold in beautiful divine timing and beautiful divine alignment. For the Divine Masculine, they're doing the same thing, but from a very different place. I feel like this is a card of foundation. We had channeled a long time ago that the tower had to tumble for the Divine Masculines because it was built on a very unstable foundation. They thought it was built on a sturdy foundation, but it wasn't. It wasn't built on the foundation of love. It was built on the foundation of falseness, on masks, on ego, on temptation, on just something that was of a very false nature. And so when they met the Divine Feminine, they began to understand and open up to what love truly is, what divine love truly is, what unconditional love truly is. And that began to topple the tower, so to speak. That began to heal the ego, or in essence, destroy the parts of themselves that weren't in alignment with their authentic truth. Divine Feminines went through this as well, but speaking of the Divine Masculines now, they've been going through this ego healing. I'm going to call it a healing versus an ego death, because it heals the ego so that you recognize the soul over the ego, so that you live in your authentic truth. And that's what they were doing. They were not living their authentic truth. And over the course of their own ascension, what they've been doing is they've been building the new foundation. And I feel like that's where they're living in. They've gone through this shift. They've gone through this transformation, or are still going through that transformation. And right now it feels like they're just in a little bit of solitude, getting used to this new higher consciousness, this new version of themselves that is expressive, that is their soul self, that is their truth. They're aligning to their truth is what I'm hearing, but they're getting more comfortable with that. That could be getting more comfortable with communicating, getting more comfortable with expressing themselves, getting more comfortable with honoring themselves. But that's what this solitude feels like. It feels like a hermit energy, but it's almost like it's just getting comfortable with this new higher version of themselves after this shift. Again, Divine Feminine is in a similar place where she has shifted and is just kind of realigning to her own true north, to her own center. But I feel like she's kind of exploring the world a little bit more, whereas the Divine Masculine is kind of more in a hermit energy. But both are really aligned to this commitment and this union with each other. Really beautiful energies here. So I'm going to use my Ascension Connections deck. This is a double deck. It's available in my Etsy shop. And the way this works is it talks about the raw and the real of the Ascension journey, the struggles, the difficulties, and then it offers another side to the hope, what is being experienced, what is being learned. So we're going to use what's going on for the Divine Masculine when it comes to their Ascension. What's going on for the Divine Masculine? Okay, what's going on for the Divine Masculine when it comes to their Ascension? What's going on for the Divine Masculine when it comes to their Ascension? I'm finding it hard to trust that the universe has my back. And the Divine Feminine, what's going on for the Divine Feminine when it comes to their Ascension? I'm so stuck in my own pain. I feel like I've regressed. And then what is it between them? I'm experiencing the 3D wobbles, feeling lost in the web of illusion. So they might, I'm struggling to surrender as well. Divine masculine and divine feminine might be really experiencing some, what they might view as setbacks because they're looking too much at the physical reality. They're looking too much for the evidence. They're testing the evidence of their journey rather than just allowing themselves to surrender to it and trust and have faith. For the divine masculines, they are learning how to surrender to the divine support of the universe, to their faith in the universe. That's part of the foundation that they're building for themselves. For the divine feminines, they're learning how to surrender to the flow of the universe, including moving past the patterns and the pains that has been perpetuating for them. They've been seeing in the 3D the patterns persisting. They've been seeing, oh, this is happening again, this is happening again, this is happening again. And so it's been really hard for them to trust their intuition and go within and receive that kind of insight and shift that pattern within themselves, or shift their belief, because they're looking too much at the 3D. Both counterparts are looking too much at the 3D rather than embracing and allowing themselves to receive the energy of just love, to receive that support. They're looking too much and trying to test out the evidence and trying to rely on the quote-unquote evidence of what's happening in the physical world. The lack of communication, the lack of coming forward, the lack of partnership, the lack of whatever this is, however it's being tested for them, or whatever is showing for them. They're looking too much at the physical rather than really surrendering to what their intuition is telling them. Interesting that there's a lot of mirroring that's happening. I feel like what they're bringing to me is like it's the same. How do I say this? So the divine masculine is also experiencing this. The divine feminine is also experiencing this. So for the divine masculine, it's like they're having a hard time shifting out of their own pain, where they were not believing in love, where they were not believing or trusting in love, either from their divine feminine, for themselves, from God, the universe. They were just caught up in their own cycles of, well, this always brought me pain, so I can't trust it. Or this was always a criticism, this was always an attack, this was always a betrayal, so I can't trust it. Now, this is not just with regards to relationships, but anything in their life. So they're attached to those pain patterns and their cycles as well. Divine Feminine is experiencing that as well. She's saying, well, this pattern keeps persisting, so how do I trust my intuition? When both have to surrender and allow for that surrender and trust, not only in this connection, but in the universe that is bringing these two together. Oh my gosh, it's so hard when I do these readings because it's so beautiful and it speaks so much truth. But my ego's like, I don't want to believe it. Could this really be real? But for me, that this is exactly showing me I've just got to continue to trust in the guidance that's being received, because I'm just an open vessel. I'm just a channel, a conduit. And I have to trust what I receive as well for my own journey, for my own experience. But I'm in the same boat. It's like, well, wait a minute, I'm not seeing this. How could this be real if I'm not seeing it? But that's where you surrender. That's where you have faith. That's where you just trust. It doesn't mean that you deny your physical reality. You have to accept your physical reality, but you don't have to perpetuate the reality that is being shown to you. You shift within yourself. You choose the path of love. All right, Divine Masculines. What do they need to know for their journey now? What do they need to know to give them hope for their journey or healing for their journey? Divine Masculines, please. I have to keep believing that this is healing, and I'm grateful for the blessings I've found along the way. This is Divine Masculine that has really been shifting their perspective around their life, around themselves, and even around this journey. I feel like they are becoming really conscious that this is a journey. Really conscious that they've been on this journey of ascension, even perhaps conscious that they've been on this journey of ascension with a sacred partner, because this is a sacred partner or a sacred union path of ascension. So I feel like they're starting to see things from different perspectives, where they might have seen things as happening to them. They're understanding that there were reasons, that there were a purpose for the experiences that they've had. And while they were stuck in the middle of it, they couldn't quite understand what that purpose was because they were so caught up in pain or trauma or the experience itself. But now they're understanding that there was a greater purpose for soul growth, for evolution. It was showing them something. And they're starting to shift their perspective and say, oh, that was actually a blessing that I went through. Even trauma. I can go back to when I experienced illness. I never thought I was going to move forward from that. I was quite literally dying. Everything was falling apart. I was losing everything. I was losing my life. And I didn't think that I was ever going to survive that. But there was so much surrender that had to be experienced from that. And it was only when I was out of that experience that I was able to look back and really see the purpose of it and shift that pain that I experienced into purpose, where I was able to use that experience to be of benefit and help and service to others. And that helped me to heal my trauma, that helped me to heal myself, and that helped me to see how grateful I actually was for that experience. Not when I was going through it. When I was going through it, it was extremely painful and traumatic, but it helped. When I was out of that experience, I was able to look back and see all the blessings that part of my journey had brought me. And I feel like these divine masculines are going through that similar experience where, that was just an example, but going through a similar experience where they're able to see the blessings that this journey has brought them. Divine feminines, you've kind of been through this reflective stage yourself where you're saying, oh, wait a minute, as difficult as this ascension journey, even with my sacred partner, has been, I can see what I've learned. I can see how I've grown, how I've evolved, how I've expanded from it. I can see how much love exists in the world, in myself, in the universe. And I can see the blessings that I received along the way, even among the pain, even among the difficulties and the challenges. It's a shift in perspective that's being experienced now. And that shift comes from surrender. All right, divine feminines. Divine feminines, what's healing or hopeful for you on this journey? I recognize my shadows and honor my light. She is recognizing that that darkness, that dark feminine, that wild feminine is an inherent part of her. It is what makes her who she is. And if you don't understand that, it can look very complicated. It can look very chaotic. It can look very complex. But understanding your darkness is what also helps you understand your light. That is that duality. We are here to experience duality, to understand duality in order to kind of transcend duality and recognize that it is all one. And so she's recognizing that her shadows help her honor her light. Her shadows, she brings her shadows to light. She brings that dark side of herself to light. She doesn't have to be ashamed of it as she had been in the past, had she had been taught in the past, or how she had been expected to in the past. A lot of collective feminine energy, and when we say darkness, it's the flaws, it's the errors, quote unquote, it's the mistakes, quote unquote, it's just the shadows. It's the shame, the guilt, the stuff that you don't always like about yourself. You bring that to light through your awareness, and you are able to heal that shadow side. And it's recognizing that you are both shadow and light both. So she's really no longer allowing herself to be ashamed of any aspect of herself, but allowing herself to honor herself in her fullness, in her wholeness. And what do we have for the union energies, please, Spirit? What do we have for the union energies? I believe in my ability to create a new path. What did I say before? Choosing the path of love, not the path of the past experiences. Again, we reflect on the experiences. We can communicate about the experiences. We can use those experiences to propel us forward. We don't deny anything about our experience or our past or our lives. But we also know that from this present moment, we can create something new by choosing that path of love. Oh, okay. This is really something. I'm enjoying this. Okay, let's get... I'm going to use this deck, which I haven't used in a very long time. It's the After Tarot. I'm going to use this for both, I think. I'm going to use this for both counterparts. So let's just see the current energies for both counterparts. Current energies for the Divine Masculine when it comes to this connection, please. Current energy for the Divine Masculine when it comes to this connection. Current energy. Okay. Current energy for the Divine Masculine when it comes to this connection. Please. Current energy for the Divine Masculine when it comes to this connection. That Ace of Swords has been making itself known. Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. But what I love about this is the after tarot. So what this is those swords have come out and the heart is mending. The heart is healing because they're not focused on that pain. They're shifting their perspective. And that's what I'm feeling with this as well. We have the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. There's a lot of new clarity that has come in, a lot of new wisdom that has come in, that the universe has presented to them. This is part of that shift, that transformation that they have experienced. And I feel like they're really, where before they were stubbornly resisting that shift in perspective, they were stubbornly shifting that the insight that the universe was trying to give to them. Now they're embracing it. Now they're allowing themselves to receive it. And it's because of this. It's because I'm hearing they got out of their own way. They were tying themselves up in knots and keeping them prisoner in their own minds. And I feel like they're just... some kind of truth came forward to break themselves free from this. It could have been from their divine feminine. This could have been just some insight that they received from a stranger, from a mentor, from a podcast, from something, but something clicked inside of them and it broke them free. It freed them from the confines of their own mental prison. And that had been a pattern that they had been repeating over and over and over and over. Perhaps it was self-criticism or lack. I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Just repeating that to themselves over and over and over. Well, something was said or done, or they saw something or read something that just clicked inside of them. Gave them some kind of clarity, and it broke them free from that mental anguish, from that mental imprisonment, from that cycle. They broke free from a cycle. And I feel like because of that, they're able to come forward and present something, and wanting to present something genuine and true. It's like they were holding themselves back because of this mental prison, because of the cycle or the perspective or the voice in their head that just kept repeating criticism. And they stepped into this energy of love, this energy of authenticity. And it's like now they can have that to offer. They didn't have that to offer before. They're showing me the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles is like holding everything close to your chest, not being willing to give, not being willing to offer anything because you're so afraid of that lack. You're so afraid of that it's going to disappear, or you're so afraid that if you gave anything of your heart, especially is the energy I'm getting, then maybe it's fear of rejection. Maybe it won't be received. Maybe you're not worthy of it. But what they're understanding, they're taking that risk and they're offering their truth. They're offering clarity. They're offering love. They're offering this genuine energy. And because of that, it's like shifting everything for them and for the connection. It's also helping to heal this connection, that whatever it is that they're bringing forth in a genuine nature, in truth and clarity, and even in divine wisdom, is helping to mend themselves, and it's helping to mend the connection. Divine Feminines, how are you feeling currently about your connection? Divine Feminines, how are you feeling currently about your connection? How are you feeling currently about your connection? something here, yeah, and we have the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is moving into calmer waters, and I feel like you've reached that shore. I feel like recently you were really just tied up about your connection, that mental anguish. You guys are mirroring this. You have the Eight of Swords and you have the Nine of Swords. You guys were really mirroring this energy. Divine Feminines, I feel like you really shifted something inside of yourself, which is allowing the Divine Masculine to shift inside themselves. And I feel like you've really reached that shore. The waters might have been really stormy for you internally. You might, again, have been really stuck in your pain, but something really shifted that broke you out. It's like you're fighting back against the monsters in your head, against the patterns that kept repeating over in your head. He doesn't love me. He doesn't care. He doesn't, want this. He doesn't want this commitment. He doesn't honor me. Whatever it is, whatever was repeating, you faced the fear. You faced the shadow, the pain that was repeating, the trauma that was creating that pattern. You fought back, and because of that, it's like you crossed the threshold. You crossed the waters, those stormy waters, that stormy weather inside of your own mind, to reach a more calm and gentle shoreline. This is a shift in consciousness that you created for yourself. Now, with the Three of Wands here and the Two of Pentacles, I feel like this is really you balancing out within yourself. You really anchoring this in, and you really seeing this from a new perspective. You're seeing your connection in a more harmonious and balanced way. You're really seeing the mirror and how you were just reflecting back and forth to each other. And I feel like that's part of what you shifted as well, whereas you were just kind of ping-ponging and projecting back and forth to each other this whole time. You're really seeing that and creating something new for yourself. This has been a big part of your journey. I want to get another card for the Three of Wands, please. Another card for the Three of Wands. Clarify the Three of Wands. Yeah, King of Swords. This was a big part of your journey where you really had to acknowledge yourself or acknowledge something within the connection. You might have even had to speak your truth to your counterpart, and that might have been very uncomfortable for you because that created a lot of vulnerability, but that actually moved you further along your path. That actually gave you more of a sense of ease and peace and direction. And actually, you know how I said here that they might have received some kind of communication or something was said to them? That might have been you, Divine Feminine. But it really feels like this actually balanced the connection out. Something was said that actually shifted you both and transformed you both into a higher level of consciousness. It might have felt uncomfortable to receive. It might have felt uncomfortable because of its vulnerability to share. But there's new clarity that is coming in from this. Yeah, you had to trust your intuition. You had to trust your truth. You had to honor yourself and what you were feeling, and that really shifted everything for you, which is shifting your connection in a positive way. It might still feel a little bit rocky here, but again, that bridge is really being built. You might just not be able to see it because you're focused on the 3D, but allow yourself to feel into the love. Allow yourself to feel into the connection. Allow yourself to feel into the energy of the truth of what you really feel for each other. All right, how are you feeling towards each other? Divine Masculine, how are you feeling towards the Divine Feminine? You know what? I want to get a union energy. What messages do we have for the union? Whoa. The Hermit. The Star. Anything else? What do we need to know for the union energies here? What do we need to know for the union energies here? Anything else? Oh my gosh. I'm dropping everything. Okay, what do we need to know for the union energies? Anything else? Union energies. And the Moon. Okay, so the Hermit, the Star, and the Moon. I feel like this is just what I was saying. Like, this is coming together. You just might not be able to see it. It's not entirely revealed just yet. But you have the Star here. This is your wishes fulfilled. This is this energy, this union energy, this love, this commitment that you have towards each other. You wished upon the same star. That star is that guiding light for both of you. So you might be in this energy of perceived separation, this solitude energy, this non-communication, but there's so much that is happening underneath the surface to bring this all together. Divine Masculine, how are you feeling towards your Divine Feminine? Divine Masculine, how are you feeling towards your Divine Feminine? Flirt. Feeling like wanting to open up this playfulness energy. Anything else? Wanting to open up this playfulness energy, wanting to, I feel like you want to share your affection with your Divine Feminine. And it might come out as like a flirtatious kind of manner, which I feel like the Divine Feminine is ready to receive. I feel like she wants that playfulness too. I feel like she wants that affection as well. And she's open to that. So this flirty energy is really, really sweet, actually. Anything else? Divine Masculine, how are you feeling for the Divine Feminine? There's this playful romantic energy that's coming through here from the masculine to the feminine. And I feel like it's a heart expansion. I feel like they didn't allow themselves to be in this energy before, or maybe they shut this down within themselves. They held themselves back from this. But I feel like this is what they want, like this new beginning. They want to really allow for this energy, this romantic, flirty energy, this playfulness. And it's not playfulness without commitment. Again, you both want that commitment towards each other. You're both loyal and devoted to each other. But it's like starting over. It's like starting at the beginning again. And we channeled that before. It's like starting at the beginning again, but getting it right this time. This is a new cycle, a new phase of your journey together. And it's like, or maybe this is somebody different that's coming in, but it's a very romantic yet playful, loving, and affectionate energy. Coming towards each other is what I'm getting. All right, Divine Feminines, how are you feeling towards this connection? How are you feeling towards this connection? Divine Feminines, how are you feeling towards this connection? Codependency. I feel like you broke the chains of the codependency. And because you broke the chains of the codependency, the attachment, you are allowing yourself to feel the freedom of this connection. And you're allowing this connection to just be free and loving. Again, freedom does not mean without commitment. Freedom does not mean without loyalty or devotion to each other. Freedom does not mean, you go your way and I go my way. Freedom is an energy of honoring each other and giving each other that space and giving each other the allowance to grow and evolve and expand within that partnership. That is what that freedom is. I had channeled this in the Divine Masculine reading, or the support for ascension special channeling for Divine Masculines, that Divine Feminine craves the love from the Divine Masculine, and the Divine Masculine craves freedom from the feminine. And when you're in that place of harmony and union within, you're able to provide that for each other. Again, that sense of freedom is a feeling, and you can have that in commitment to each other when you are in healthy relationship. And union energy. What do we need to know for the union energy? Trust. That's what we had channeled in the beginning. And look, romance on the bottom of the deck. I do feel like this is the undercurrent of emotion that is beginning to be felt here in the connection and acknowledged within the connection as well. All right, I feel like we're going to end this here. This is going to be a shorter reading, but let's see, what does the Divine Masculine want to say to the Divine Feminine? Divine Masculine, what do you want to say to your Divine Feminine? Divine Masculine, I'll never give up on us. Divine Masculine, I feel like, is fighting to come back to you, is fighting for this connection. I feel like they're fighting their own inner demons and healing themselves and allowing themselves to transform because they are so committed to this, because they want this. Divine Feminines, you've been in a little bit of upheaval and pain because you haven't been understanding this or seeing this, because you've been so focused on the lack that's being experienced in the 3D. You feel like your Divine Masculine has abandoned you. And in many ways, allow for that, accept that, allow yourself to be disappointed in their behavior, allow yourself to be disappointed in the connection. but also understand that there's so much more that is happening energetically, and that they truly do have deep-seated love for you. Divine Masculines, I feel like you really are working towards this, and your role is to begin taking action and showing up for yourself and for the connection. Allow for this. Allow for this to take root. Allow for this to anchor in. Allow for the connection to keep evolving as it needs to. Divine Feminines, what do you want to say to your Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine, what do you want to say to your Divine Masculine? You're my best friend. Oh my gosh. She has always felt this connection with the Divine Masculine. It's like across space and time, no matter what is experienced, she always feels this. It's the foundation of friendship, which is the basis of all beautiful partnership. I have a sign here that says love is friendship set on fire. And that is the foundation. Friendship is the foundation of every beautiful connection. And that's what this is. She's like, I trust in you and I honor you and I see you as my best friend, and across space and time you always will be. And she wants the Divine Masculine to know that she believes in him and always has. She might not have always liked, again, that being stuck in the 3D, she might not always like what it looked like, but energetically she has always believed in the Divine Masculine, and she's saying she always will. And what's the message between the two of you? What's the shared message between the two of you? My love for you is eternal. Gosh, that's so beautiful. All right, you guys, that's going to be it. A short and sweet reading for tonight. I'm sending you so much love and so much light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.